Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. And welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to see you, Brightherd. Good to see Beer Fox and Brightherd. Congratulations, you have won the crown of Firstendom this day. It is not the crown of Secondom. It is instead the crown of Monkey. Monkey. That is cool about the music, Beer Fox. I think I had heard that before, but I'm not positive. But yeah, so also good to see you, Bad Roxy. Hello, love. Good to see you. Yeah, so also Spotify is being dumb today. I clicked play, hit shuffle on. Apparently just didn't make a queue. Just decided, no, I don't feel like it. Until I had manually seeded the queue. Then it was like, all right, you want to play from this playlist. That's why you played a song from this playlist. Technology, man. Anyway, we're going to be playing Secret of Monkey Island Special Edition. It's version I own. I've not played this. I know of it, but that's about it. I know some of the speedrun stuff. Weirdly enough, that's how I know most of it. I have played the most recent Monkey Island game, but yeah, this one I've never played, so I'm excited to get into it. Hey, Sub-Zero. Hey, stick around as long as you can. Hope the day gets less hectic. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's dive on into Monkey. The theme is a bop. Deep in the Caribbean. The island of Melee. Oh, that was a nice transition for the special edition to go from the 8-bit to the special edition version. That was sick. You can transition back. It lets you swap back and forth. How? There was nothing in the options. Yeah, LucasArts did used to cook. I really like how they did those clouds. They have a nice ephemeral quality. Oh, that walk cycle.
Hi, my name's Guybrush Threepwood, and I want to be a pirate.
Yikes! Don't sneak up on me like that.
I'm over this way.
F10.
Well,
No, but if we do that, then we don't get the voice acting.
so you want to be a pirate, eh? You look more like a flooring inspector. But if you're serious about pirating, go talk to the pirate leaders. You'll find them in the scum bar.
And music. We don't get music
Gosh, thanks.
if we're in
I'll do that.
the old
Bye
mode.
now. I'm off to seek my fortune.
Good luck.
So do we stick with terrifying Guybrush Threepwood and music?
Where did you say those pirate leaders were?
The scum
The
bar.
scum bar.
Right. Thanks.
No, old version. But then we don't get music. At the time this came out, it was revolutionary. A point-and-click adventure game with no permanent locked states or instant death traps. Re-elect Governor Marley. When there's only one candidate, there's only one choice. There's one death trap. It takes 15 minutes to work. Well, there you go. But where's the fun? I want my Sierra Adventure nonsense. Okay, there is still music. Okay, never mind. No voice acting, though, so we can't listen to Guybrush Threepwood, but... Ahoy there, stranger. New in town? My name's Guybrush Threepwood. I'm new in town. Guybrush Threepwood. Ha 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 ha. That's the stupidest name I've ever heard. I don't know, I kind of like Guybrush. But it's not even a name. Well, what's your name? My name is Mancomb Seepgood. What brings you to Melee Island TM anyways? I want to be a pirate. Oh, really? You should go talk to the important looking pirates in the next room. They're pretty much in charge around here. They'll tell you where to go, what to do. Where can I find the nice governor? Governor Marley? Her mansion is on the other side of town. But pirates aren't as welcome around her place as they used to be. Great, I'll go now when I'm not a pirate. I'm welcome everywhere I go. That's the Guybrush Threepwood I know. Ah, whatever you say. Just watch out for the guard dogs. Uh-oh. It looks like my grog is going flat, so you'll have to excuse me. Nice talking to you. Have fun on Melee Island. TM. He's having a good time. Oh yeah, these guys look important. They have a table and everything. What be you wanting, boy? I want to be a pirate. Copy protection of the original game. You laying at pirates with locations, including Threepwood and Elaine. Huh. There you go. I want to be a pirate. So what? Why bother us? Hey, don't forget we're short on help because of this whole LeChuck thing. So no pirate means no swag, and no swag means no grog, and we're getting dangerously low on grog. Do you have any special skills? I can hold my breath for 10 minutes, which is a plot point. Well, all right. But you don't become a pirate just by asking. You'll have to go through the three trials. What 3 trials are those? What? There are 3 trials that every pirate must pass. You must master the sword, and the art of thievery, and the quest. The what? Treasure hunting, you sea urchin. Right. You must prove yourself in each of these 3 areas. Swordplay, thievery, and treasure huntery. I'm slipping into a Scottish accent. Then return with proof that you've done it. And then you must drink grog with us. Grog, 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 grog. Okay, well, I'm gonna go figure that out on my own because I don't need you to become a pirate. Come back later and we'll tell you how we're doing. Hey! You can't come back here? Oh, what if I want to work for the kitchen? To be fair, Scottish isn't that far removed from pirate. It's really not. Meanwhile, deep beneath Monkey Island, the ghost pirate LeChuck ship lies anchored in a river of lava. Captain LeChuck, sir. There's nothing like the hot winds of hell blowing on your face. No, sir. Nothing like it. Sir. Hi. It's days like this that makes you glad to be dead. Yes, sir. Glad to be dead. Are you glad to be dead, right? Oh, yes, sir. I feel so lucky to have been captured my ship, then murdered me and everyone on board. Yes, sir. Lucky. Glad to hear it. Now, what is it you disturbed me for? Yes, sir. Well, you see, we might have a problem on Melee Island, TM. Problem? What problem could there possibly be? I've got those silly pirates so scared of the sea they're afraid to take a bath. Well, there seems to be a new pirate in town. Actually, he's a pirate wannabe. Young, inexperienced. Probably nothing to worry about. Don't know why I bothered you with it. I'll have him take care of it myself. Wait, I'll handle this personally. My plans are too important to be messed up by amateurs. Yes, sir. Don't forget that Cobb is back in the bar. He has important information. Which one's Cobb? How am I supposed to know who this is? I don't know who Cobb is. How am I supposed to know that Cobb is important? You're supposed to talk to everyone. Watch me. There's too many people in the bar. Excuse me, but do you have a cousin named Sven? Is that some sort of code? Of course it's a code, you idiot. Never mind. Good night. Hey, Gale. I feel watched. Hey, nice rat. Do you like rats? No, I can't stand them, really. Very intelligent. Gulp. More intelligent than him. Why, there's a story of these parts. A bunch of rats actually accrued a ship from here to the fabled Monkey Island, TM. Oh, that's not right. It was actually a group of monkeys. It's also a puzzle in this game makes no sense in any other language. Well, there you go. That's amazing. But true. When they arrived, they sold the ship for a pretty penny. Only time I've seen anyone get a better deal of old Stan. Thought it was rats. You know, the sneaky guy on the corner. Want to buy a map, eh? Our maps are top quality. Not like that birdcage liners you get from that clown across the street. No, just kidding. There are actually copies of the minutes of the last meeting of the Melee Island PTA. Can't even give them away. What one? I like that. I like that all the options are no, but sure, I'll take one if you give me 2 pieces of 8. I'll be running along now. Look at that. We made money. We made money getting stuff from the PTA. That feels wrong. Ye old rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle shop. Serving your rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle needs for over 50 years. That's oddly specific, and I can't interact with the door. Those doors I can. What may I help you with, son? My name is Guybrush Threepwood. I'm a mighty pirate. Wait. Don't say anything. And since your name is Guybrush Nose Hair. No. Threepwood. Basically the same thing. Am I right or not? Oh, that was amazing. You have any other tricks? I don't deal in tricks. I know is the truth. Neat place you got. Or, what about reading palms? Am I going to be rich? So, my mind reading skills tells me you want to be rich. Are you certain this is something you really wish to know? What's a threep? Yes, exactly. Yes, tell me everything that's going to happen to me. I'm getting a vision. Okay, that's cool, Cauldron. I see you taking a voyage, a long voyage. See you captaining a ship. Yeah. I see. What? See what? I see a giant monkey. I see you inside the giant monkey. Ew. Wait. It's all becoming clear. Your journey will have many parts. You'll see things better left unseen. You'll hear things better left unheard. You will learn of things better left unlearned. What kind of things? I hate surprises. No. The time is not right to know. When you know your purpose, come see me. I'll let you know then. Oh, that's helpful. Yikes. It's a weird little fast travel system. I don't see anything special about it. 10 o'clock. Looks more like 11 to me, but... Oh, hey there, fancy pants. What do you want? I think I'd just like to browse for now. Okay. Wake me up if you need something. Conspicuous safe that I know we need to get into at some point. Could you hurry up? I was hoping to close early today. What? I am trying to hurry up. I'm trying to leave. Psst. Hello? Anybody in here? Hello? You know, bad things could happen to a person in a dark, deserted alley like this one. And at a time of night, nobody would be around to see it. Oh, really? That's interesting. Well, see ya. Did you see something back there? Yeah, and bad things happen to people who sneak up on other people from behind. What, did you hear something? No. I'd better get your name. Guybrush Threepwood, Mighty Pirate, new in town, and I was just leaving. I was just leaving. Listen, Peepwood. Threepwood. Guybrush Threepwood. Whatever your name is. Listen. I'm the sheriff around here. Sheriff Fester Shinetop. Take it from me. This is a bad time to be visiting Melee Island TM. A very bad time. My advice to you is to find somewhere else to take your vacation. Somewhere safer. Boy, I feel much better knowing there's an officer of the law around. Oh, Guybrush. Let's see what's inside the church-looking place. It's a church. It's a very ominous church. It's locked. Oh, hey, it's a prisoner. Let's talk to the prisoner. You gotta get me out of here. I'm a victim of society. Not to mention halitosis. Ugh. Hey, it's hard to keep my breath minty fresh when there's nothing to eat in here but rats. Talk death breath? No thanks. It's locked. Pirates would have ominous churches. Well, they might. You know, we can't necessarily make that distinction. Oh, cool. There's a flash flood warning. Deadly piranha poodles. I don't think I can get past them. Sure, a lot of spelling errors in these minutes. You can see the poodles more easily. It's kind of fun being able to just swap between the two, not gonna lie. Oh, hello. Hello. Can I talk to you? No? No? You're just gonna... cannot interact with you. The transition is really smooth. They did a really good job with that. The fact that you can do it while you're playing, like while you're actively doing something, is very impressive. Hello. Apparently that's a dog on the floor. Grrr. Woof. Woof? A rough roof? Woof woof arf woof. Woof Melee Island. I wasn't prepared for the dog to say Melee Island TM. Woof LeChuck. Woof 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 ruff ruff. War roof woof. Ruff arf arf. Bow rough. Governor Marley. Ow ow. Ruff ruff ruff. This dog is opinionated. Ask me about Loom. So tell me about Loom. You mean the latest masterpiece of fantasy storytelling from Lucasfilm TM, Brian Moriarty TM? I don't think Brian Moriarty is trademarked. Why, it's an extraordinary adventure with stunning high resolution 3D landscapes. We've already played this game. Sophisticated score and musical effects. Not to mention the detailed animation and special effects. Advertisement, advertisement, advertisement. Tell me more about this game I've played and really love. Beat the rush. Go out and buy Loom TM today. Nice hat. I did find Cobb. Look, it's on his hat. So that is that all you want me to go back for, Step Zero? Just to ask him about Loom? What are you looking at me for? I don't know which eye to stare at. I like to introduce myself. Why are pirates more welcoming? My name's Guybrush. Yeah, so what? Are pirates welcome at the governor's house? Because of LeChuck, that's why. He's the guy who went to the governor's for dinner and never wanted to leave. He fell for her in a big way, but she told him to drop dead. So he did. Then things got real ugly. What's so scary about him? LeChuck was a fearsome pirate. He tried to impress the governor by sailing out to find the secret of Monkey Island to TM. But a mysterious storm came up and sank his ship, leaving no survivors. We thought that was the end of the fearsome pirate LeChuck. We were wrong. What happened? He still sails the waters between here and Monkey Island TM. That's why we're all here and not out pirating. I'm looking for the dartboard. Dartboard? We don't have one anymore. It was a horrible accident. Drinking and darts don't mix. Well, let's see, you say that. What happened to your eye? It's a great question. 3 points, not... I was putting in my contact lens one. Hey, wait a second. That's none of your business. Didn't I just talk to people? No, that's overrated. Okay, so there's a clearing. There's something we can't access. Little island, lights, and a house. And that's the village we were just at. So I'm guessing the governor's mansion is meant to be like around here-ish. Oh, let's go to these lights first. None shall pass. Stop. You must pay a toll. How much is the toll? Well, what have you got? I got minutes from a PTA meeting. 2 pieces of 8? I want something that will attract attention, but will have no real importance. Construction paper jockey shorts, that's a choice. Monkey leash with 3 collars. Rubber chicken with pulley in the middle. My old moss-covered tree-handled family credenza. Rubber chicken with a pulley in the middle? Don't be silly. You have 3 chances to give me what I want. Then I eat you. I gotta give him what I want. What he wants. You've actually beaten this game? That is a rarity for this channel. I know that none shall pass. That's why I'm... Ah. So something special but of no great importance, I guess? Oh, cool. There's a circus. I get the can, but the gunpowder makes me sneeze. Well, I can't do it. I hurt my hand taming the lions last week. I hardly think a little scratch compares to my chronic allergy. You get in the cannon. You don't have any allergies, you faker. You get in the cannon. No, you get in the cannon. No, you get in the cannon. Slacker. Loser. Ruffian. Fop. Weasel. Weevil. Miscreant. Toady. Ne'er-do-well. Scofflaw. Yeah, I know I can pick something. Ahem. I'll get in the cannon. Once in a lifetime to perform an amazing feat, death-defying feat. Well, also death-defying, a dangerous feat. No, not dangerous at all. An easy feat, but exciting. With the amazing, adventurous, acrobatic, and exceedingly well-known, fabulous flying Fettuccine Brothers. That's us. I'm Brother Alfredo, and I'm Brother Bill. Bill Fettuccine. All you have to do is get in the cannon. Oh, that sounds easy. It'll shoot you out of it. Across the room. Quite safely, actually. So what do you say? How much will you pay me? How about 478 pieces of 8? Sure. Have you got a helmet? Do I need a helmet? No helmet? Oh, you've got to have a helmet. Can't do the cannon trick without a helmet. Well, neither of you have a helmet. No siree. Go get a helmet, and then we can do this trick. Why don't you give... Yeah, something that attracts a lot of attention but no great importance. That's what I said, basically. Let's go talk to the ugly pirate. No, the ugly pirate disappeared. Oh, I am so lost. I'm not going to go into this maze-like forest without a map or guide or something. Why don't you X here? And now adventure game is funnier this way? Yeah, fair enough. My, what an unusually bright yellow they are. Can I pick some flowers up? I can. I have yellow flowers now. Okay, now we'll get the ugly pirate for sure. Hello? Ah, what you be wanting, you scurvy lubber? I don't know how much more I can do the pirate voice. It hurts the thromborax. Oh, nice night we're having, isn't it? I sure hopes you had something more important to stop me for. Why do you talk so funny? Pirate lingo. I could switch back to the voice acted version, but then it's all ugly, weird, and creepy. Come on, Guybrush. Play along. Sorry to bother you. I'll be on my way. Dang it, I don't know how to sword fight yet. It's just like the one on the other side. Oh no, I need something to zip line with. Gaudy, but in a cheerful sort of way. Okay, I'll go talk. I think I need to talk to the pirate leaders again about the 3 quests in particular, which I don't like. I started. You told me what to do. Let me go do them. Sup, lookout. Yeah, it's me. I'd like to know more about these quests. Tell me more about mastering the sword. First, get ye a sword. Seek out and defeat the sword master. Someone in town can probably direct you. Oh. You'll want to find someone to train you first. Imagine trying to take on the sword master without any training. The art of thievery. Procure a small item for us. The idol of many hands. In the governor's mansion. Governor's idol of many hands is in display case in the mansion outside of town. Okay, well. Yes, the dogs. Might be able to drug them. And the treasure hunting. Legend has there's a treasure buried here on the island. All you must do, find the legendary lost treasure of Melee Island, TM, and bring it back here. So, should I have a map or something? I hardly expect to find a treasure without a map. Don't forget, X marks the spot. Okay, well, I feel like that didn't help much. So they're all passed out. So where... So if I were to find a sword... Where would I be? Here for when you want tips, but not before. I appreciate that. Yeah, do I have a cousin? It's only you again. I just want a map. Shh. Ugly sheriff might be around here. Now then. Let's talk business. You want to buy a map to the legendary lost treasure of Melee Island? That's exactly what I'm looking for. Only one in existence. Rare. Very rare. Only 100 pieces a... Oh, is that all? No thanks, I don't have enough money. World record's 31 minutes. That's actually longer than I would have thought. Buzz off, kids. Bad for business. I'm not messing with your rat. $10 minutes longer on the new graphics. That's kind of wild, actually. Okay, so that's the store. It's the church. It's the jail. Did I miss something in here? It doesn't look like there's anything to interact with. Monkey. Hey, Mel. As I was playing new Donkey Kong, Father Returns to point-and-click tradition. It's true. I've also been playing new Donkey Kong, though, just in my free time. Oh, sword. Slash Master TM. When you want a sword as sharp as your wit. Maybe you'd like to pay for that? Ah, I'm a pirate. I'm looking for the Swordmaster of Melee Island. The Swordmaster of Melee Island, TM. I don't know. Nobody knows whereabouts of her secret hideout. Nobody except me. I'd have to go and ask her if it's okay to show you the way. I guess I could hike all the way over there once. Be right back. Uh-oh, did I? And don't touch anything. I feel like I have hecked up. No, I can't steal anything now. There's a priest. Wow, where did you come from? Look for Swordmaster, are you? Well, I know I can't, but it worried me for a moment that I had. See if I ever trust you again. Maybe you'd like to pay for that. Well, how much? About the sword. How much is it? 100. Why is everything 100 pieces of 8? I don't have enough money. You really use a breath mint. Wow, Guybrush. Huh, you're telling me. Here, take one. Please. Take the whole roll. That'll be 1 piece 8. Okay. So I like he's like, take this. That'll cost you money. Breathmaster team. Is everything trademarked in this world? Yes, TM. Well, fair enough. Get a handle on the savings with Grip Master TM handles. Going cross-eyed looking at screens. Oof. Maybe he likes yellow flowers. Okay, fine. So I feel like in order to make the money I need for the map and the sword, this vault up here, the safe, is probably a pretty good bet. So how do I get him to look at or to open it? Oh, I can give a breath mint to the guy in jail so I can actually talk to him. Ooh, Groggo mint. How refreshing. You? So, have you come to release me? Who are you? named Otis. At least I think it is. Been here so long, I can hardly remember. You gotta get me out of here before I completely lose my mind! Can't you see I'm innocent? But why are you in jail if you're innocent? I was framed! And touch the stupid flowers. What flowers? The yellow Canisian dormy flowers in the forest. It's against the law to pick them. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I can't do that. That's not useful right now. Come, Kate Walker. Also, Rotita, happy feast day of St. Ignatius of Loyola, founder of the Jesuits. I preached at Mass today about the role of the spiritual exercises and how they're good for really anyone in any stage of life to be able to ask what is good, what's coming from God, and what are the bad things in my life that I need to live with, and what's the bad that I can cut out so I can grow closer to God. Sheriff Shinetop, sure is a jerk. Can I get you anything? How's the food in there? Oh, you know the usual. Slop, grog, gruel. Rats, bugs, and lice if you can catch them. I have a carrot cake my Aunt Tilly made, even though she knows I detest carrot cake. Actually, the cook at the bar is an old friend of mine, sometimes sneaks me food. Like pork trimmings, mostly feet and lips. But once in a while, he brings me this really odd rump roast. What's so odd about the rump roast? Well, it's the only rump roast I've ever seen with a prehensile tail. So who'd want to frame you? I don't exactly know who. I think it's a conspiracy. And if there's one type of piracy I don't like, it's a cons piracy. Hearing about Constellation and Desolation helps you so much. Hey, that's awesome. It's powerful. Sure, Shinetop sure is a jerk, isn't he? Dude, you just met him. Huh, no kidding. Fester Shinetop is the meanest man on Melee Island, TM. Luckily, the governor keeps him in check most of the time. He used to have a fair decent... Oh, excuse me. He died under mysterious circumstances. If you ask me, the new sheriff had something to do with it. I think you've said enough, Otis. Whoops. Boo this joke. He'd say anything to avoid paying his debt to society. Would I like a tip? Tip TM? No, I'm good for now. We're making progress. We're talking to folks. He's filthy. Do you mind? He seems innocent. Why don't you let him out? Maybe you should mind your own business, stranger. Good luck with the lab work. I'll decide who's innocent around here. Oh, sorry. Look, I don't know what you're up to. But whatever it is, it's probably illegal. So forget it. Hey, I have these yellow flowers. Monkey business? In my monkey island? Is he a pill or what? You see what I have to go? Can't talk. You better go. Let's walk to the deadly piranha poodles. Just gotta have a Zoom call with Deacon Nicholas Kotar. Oh, very nice. Are you taking... I don't think these dogs are vegetarians. No, I don't think so either. But Invisalign. Um Now that we know Otis's friend is doing a class on how to get published as an author. Ah, very nice. Hello, I'm ready to know more about the future. I guess no one's here. I am not ready to know more about the future. No thanks. I'd rather not touch any of this creepy voodoo stuff. Poor chickens. Jar bat drippings. Box has assorted scales. Shaker full of monkey flakes. And some cat knuckles. Cat knuckles? How barbaric. Actually, that is kind of barbaric. I wonder what's in these baskets. Why don't you open the baskets? Actually, I'm not that curious. Why'd you ask what's in them? But yeah, I wonder if we're supposed to talk to the cook in the bar to get something for the piranhas. Think we got the rump roast? Like, I know he comes out and about sometimes. Okay, so I can't come back there yet. But I do know someone comes out and about, so maybe we can talk to them? Nope. He walks too fast. Oh, we're back to talking to this guy. Can I get you a drink? A drink? You could wait for the cook to notice you. That could take all day. Just find a mug and sneak into the kitchen. That's all we do. Look, this whole LeChuck thing has me pretty shaken up. So if you don't mind. Okay, so I need a mug. Surely one of these pirates is just passed out enough that I could be like, hey, just gonna take your mug. But if I have to sneak in, I guess I just wait. Because he will come out. Like that. Hey! Don't go into the kitchen. What? Make me. I think it's full of that foul stuff the pirates drink. If you want to be a pirate, I don't want to put that in there. Well, I think that bird will peck my hand off. Okay, well, what if we smack the bird with a pot? Head cheese. It is a choice. Okay, so I need something to get rid of the seagull, but that's... Oh, I wonder. That doesn't seem to work. What? I should totally be able to just dunk the meat into the grog and make it poisonous. I don't want that much. Well, okay. Okay, that seems to be all I can interact with in here for now, but I did get the meat. I got the weird rump roast with the prehensile tail. What if we fed that to the dogs? Back to work. CML. Give hunk of meat to deadly piranha poodles. What? What do you mean the meat didn't satiate them? No, I'm out of meat. You know who I blame?
Ah, the French.
Well, let's get the meat while we're here. Because we know... Kiddo enjoyed his curry. Hey, let's go. He's got good taste. That means that you also didn't make it too spicy for baby. So. Rotda. Today is the feast of St. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, also baptized Inigo. Yes, as in Inigo Montoya. Yeah, I think the Jesuits have had a lasting impact on the life of the church in one of the most notable ways that can be used by lots of folks is the spiritual exercises, and that's what I preached about at Mass. Did I wrote it up? I did, but it's not like it's a once a day thing. Hey, Nico, thank you for the raid. Reference raid. Well, get referenced with 8-bit. And my voice failing because I've been doing a lot of pirate voice. I'm looking for fun. See, Nettie? Anyway, yeah, welcome, Raiders. We are playing the original Monkey Island. Thank you, Gail, for the shout out. I'd say your name once again. Call me Squinky. Who are you? No, I'm the lookout of Melee Island. TM. I watch the ocean for approaching storms and ships and report them directly to the governor. She doesn't like unexpected visitors. Ha, well, especially not now. Why is the governor worried about unexpected visitors? Actually, it's the expected visitors I'm worried about. One pirate captain in particular. A dead one. But that doesn't make him any less dangerous. How'd you get the job when you're blind as a bat? Was it this version, Neko, that you played?
I was handpicked by Sheriff Shinetop.
I'm not playing this version because Guybrush looks terrifying. Have I become monkey? I'm trying every day, Trekkie. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I'm over here. Yeah? I'm just going to be seeking my fortune now. No, the full 3D version that came out on the Wii. Ah, okay. I feel like the troll would like the hunk of meat, but I don't think that's the answer. Now I have meat with condiment. I'm slightly concerned that yellow flour could just be combined with meat and make condiment. Well, let's go get more yellow flowers. I've already got one. Yeah, but it's combined with the meat. Meat with condiment sounds good. It does, but I don't know to what end is the problem. And now I'm realizing that it might be that the dogs are, like, allergic to the flowers. Oh, right, that's the souvenir shop. And I don't have a sword, so I can't face the traveling pirates yet. I always eat my meat with condiment. See, when you put it that way, it sounds... It sounds wrong. It sounds weird. And as my good buddy, Father Rich Whitney says, don't make it weird. Mission accomplished. It sounds like failed. Was it like failed successfully? Failing upward. See, I can't move during any of that. Sure! The dogs were allergic to the flowers! Important notice, these dogs are not dead. They are only sleeping. No animals were harmed during the production of this game. Well, I do appreciate that. But, sure. That's progress. A priceless Ming. Now, before I go looking in other doors, let's explore the rest of this area. I don't recognize the man that looks like the dog. But that looks like the dog at the bar. Oh, okay. No time for reading now. Can I steal the ship in a bottle? That feels like something the troll would like. Nope, it's locked. Okay, well, let's go to that other door. This looks like a job for Fester Shinetop. Uh-oh. I did get caught, but I also think I successfully won. I do like that. No, not the red button. Look at Tremendous Yak. Push tremendously dangerous looking yak. Pull tremendously dangerous looking yak. Pick up stable removal. Use stable removal on dangerous looking yak. This is so meta. The fact that there are things, I must be nuts. That the things you pick up for the fight, which I have no control over. Show up in your inventory. Like the Ming vase showed up in my inventory and he used it in the same way. Use gopher repellent. Where did you get gopher repellent? Gopher horde. Funny little man. Fabulous idol. It's beautiful. Pick up heavy chair. Oh, good. I have a heavy chair in my inventory now. Use chair with sheriff. That should hold him for a while. Only had a file. I could get the idol. Gopher, I heard. That was hilarious. Manual style. I think it's some kind of religious text. They're yak-sized and covered with slobber. I'm certainly not going to chew on them. It says gophers don't come near with this stuff on. But this will come in handy. I don't see anything special. You don't see anything special about the hole in the wall that you made? Well, I don't know what to do with everything I have now, but we have more things. So I'm going to call that progress. Now, if it's a religious text, according to Guybrush, I can't use it with anything in here. Would you like wax lips? No, you like cash only. Uh-huh. Wait. I wonder if I could use the pot as a helmet. Progress. Well, you know, in terms of point-and-click adventure games. I was inside the church looked like it was built in the 1980s. Yes. Give the wax lips to the dog. The Mind Slug. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. You join as I am just utterly baffled and enjoying this game. Yeah, I wonder if I could use the pot as a helmet. No staples to be removed. Oh, well. You just take the poster? I can't pick that up. Well, then what's holding it there? Am I an ordained minister? I am. I am a Catholic priest. And Jopsta, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. May I ask a question? Certainly. Ahem. Why did God send out 2 she-bears to maul 42 kids for calling someone bald? Ah, okay, that's a great question, actually, because that helps us wrestle with why things happen in Scripture and how we understand it. Let me go get a Bible in particular. So the verse you're referring to is in Second Book of Kings, chapter 2. Gotta get to the right page. That's the wrong set. How much of the Bible should I read? I think the Bible is a powerful thing to read. Don't try to attempt to read it all in a single day. I think it's something that's good to be studied honestly with others. Hold on, I think the one I grabbed has different numbering, so it's making it harder to find. Because that's the thing, there is no one hard set. Yeah, that one's not going to help. Yeah, Second Book of Kings. The problem is that the edition I grabbed, it was like, it has it listed out as First, Second, Third, and Fourth Kingdom. It's a slightly different translation. I'll grab a more normal translation. I have several Bibles in my office of various translations. And that one just was the wrong one to grab. So Second Book of Kings, chapter 2, verse 23 and 24. So Elijah went up from there to Bethel, and while he was going on his way, some children, and this gets, that word, first of all, gets translated in different ways. The most accurate way of what the Hebrew original is saying is more like young adult. Like, we'd say teenager now, but cultural differences being what they were several thousand years ago, you know, these were young adults. So that is important context. And while he was going on the way, they came out of the city and jeered at him, saying, "Go away, bald head, go away, bald head." And then he turned and saw them, cursed them in the name of the Lord. Then 2 she-bears came out of the woods and mauled 42 of them. And this happened when he went to the Mount of Carmel and then to Samaria. There's different varieties of Bibles? Oh, there's lots of different versions. My personal favorite version, just for reference, is NRSV, New Revised Standard Version. Although I do think there's value in lots of different... There's basically different translations. To go on a quick side tangent, so like... the King James is maybe the most famous one. It's the one with, it's like thee, thy, thou, you know, oh Lord, thou art great, you know, that kind of language, because that's the language that was used when it's translated. But there are more modern versions that are used as well. And they have various edit, because you can never translate exactly one-to-one, because you're trying to do like, you're trying to speak to culture and you're trying to speak of culture from, you know, different continents, different ages. You kind of have to, at certain points, be like, oh, there's only so much we can do. Different choices. And yeah, as Trekkie says, who is also a priest, by the way. So, actually went to seminary together. Yeah, different, how they choose to translate. So anyway, so back to the second book of Kings, to come back to that. What's a she-bear? She-bear is generally understood as being a lion, of a lioness. As I understand it. It's some sort of large beast, basically. But yeah, so I think this version is that translation, or that story is interesting, because it is tough. It does challenges of like, oh yes, hello. Oh, look, that auto pause for me. Because it's like, culturally just, it's like they just called him bald, but there is a particular insinuation with the language that they use that was extremely inappropriate. That, you know, it'd be like, you know, going up to someone and using just like really foul language. And so like that's important context of understanding it. Gosh, where's my brain going with this? I'm sorry. It's been a busy day, and so my brain is all of a sudden just like checking out. You know, and I think an important part too with scripture is that how to phrase this. Scripture is the inspired word of God. The language is mean spirit, so why is the punishment death? Yeah, and that's a tricky thing. And that's not one that I can necessarily like give an answer of like, oh, this is the magic wand that just waves it away. But the thing that I sometimes sit with is the reality that scripture is the divinely inspired word of God. It is written by human beings. In many ways, some of it might be human beings telling. We know a lot of it started as oral tradition. And it's how do we understand sort of the human side of it, and that, like, you know, it says he called upon the name of the Lord, but did God actually send those bears? Or did he just call upon the name of the Lord and that happened? But it gets recorded in a way that makes it sound like the two are intrinsically linked. Now, he is a prophet. There is that connection. And it's also a very different era, a much more violent era. And that doesn't justify it. I'm not trying to say that, you know, any death or violence. But yeah, it's one of those where it's like difficult verses. We sometimes have to just sit with the fact that it is difficult, and we can't always have a simple answer and be like, oh, well, that explains it, and everything goes away. I wish I had a better study Bible, or let me grab a commentary. So this is my Paulus Biblical Commentary. It's just a whole bunch of people who have written about the various books of scripture. And this one is just like on the whole Bible, kind of verse by verse. $2.92. Thrilling stream, watching someone read a book. And of course, this one doesn't have anything on it. It just kind of skips over it. Why? There's only so much you can do in a single book, I guess. I think it could also be a way of sort of manifesting the understanding of like the intensity of what is at stake here in terms of a prophet proclaiming God's word. Yes, game, I am still here, I promise. This is a great question, and not one I know a complete answer off the top of my head to, because, you know, as much as I am a priest, it doesn't mean I magically know everything about the Bible. So we're doing a bit of an improvised Bible study here. I know I've... Maybe I should ChatGPT it? I don't trust ChatGPT. I know I've heard a much better eloquent reference to this. Catholic Answers released an AI today. Again? Didn't they learn from that Look, to be honest, they screwed up when they did that a few months ago, and they named it Father Justin. Maybe you just heard about it today? No, I think they probably did release a new version, but that's just... I'm very critical of AI, not because of the technology of it, but because of some of the moral implications around A, its generation, and B, its energy use and the effects it's having. But that's a whole other conversation. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would ultimately say sitting with it is the most important thing, and I think it's a good question. And again, I apologize if I don't have just like a simple here is the answer, because sometimes with the difficult questions of life, we don't get those, you know. So I will definitely, but I tell you what, Mindslug, I will keep doing some digging off stream and come up with an answer. If you want to join my Discord, it's a great place to ask that kind of question and keep that kind of conversation going. Ultimately, yeah, I would say, though, the two things are, one, it's understanding the story of Elijah being written by humans and trying to understand the divine within it, which sometimes means it's going to be messy. Life is messy, so the Bible will naturally reflect that. But also, you know, just to ask the question of, like, what is the deeper truth here? What is the imperative that God is trying to communicate to us of, you know, the urgency with which this is being communicated, and the way in which that these youths are kind of like not just insulting this guy, but actively trying to keep him from doing that. You know, so trying to understand those questions and those balances. Uh-oh, I see my boss. I see Father Dave. Looks like he's popping into the office or something. Do I bless people's cars on the feast of the prophet Elijah? Or is that just something that happens over here? I think that might be more of an Orthodox thing, although I have blessed people's cars. On the day of the feast of Elijah, not so much. Let me see really quickly. Don't really have a... Yeah. I have more resources on the New Testament than I do on the Old Testament. Is one of the tricky things in having a conversation about this, because, like, I'm looking at my shelf of commentary stuff, and it's like letters to St. Paul, letters to St. Paul, St. Paul the Apostle, reading the New Testament, the Gospels, you know, and it's like, oh. But yeah. Anyway, I think that's a good question. Why would I need my card blessed? I don't think it's that it's a need. I think it's that it's a... Do I get better miles per gallon? One can hope. Hope springs eternal, after all. No, I think it's just a way of intentionally praying with and asking church, institutional, church communal, to pray for your safe travels. You know, it's a way of intentionally bringing in others and saying, hey, please pray for me, pray with me for my safe travels, and doing that by having a representative of the church, a priest or a deacon, sprinkle it with holy water and say some prayers. So you primarily work in office. How much clerical work do you do? Ah, I see what you did there, Gail. Because clerical. Actually, I don't really do that much of the office clerical. Of course, I have a helmet. Let's find out. Joke was bad and you should feel bad. Please, it's better than most of my jokes. Yeah, I want to see... Oh, that will work as a helmet. Now we can do the trick. See, I told you I had a helmet. Speaking of the jokes, get the cannon. Yeah, I'll take care of the rest. Echo. Yeah, that's about what I expected. It works. I'm so relieved. Hey, are you okay? Where's my helmet? I'm Bobbin. Are you my mother? Try and break some rows again. Good luck, Mel. Good luck. Anyway, for that father joke, You know, people who don't eat gluten, they're really going against the grain. Can you bless my PC? Sounds useful. Yeah, you can bless just about anything. I've blessed a tattoo. Hooray! We are spared an embarrassing, financially debilitating lawsuit. Here's your money, sir. Just recompense for aiding us. We need to change the aim a bit. I'll try next. Do I get more FPS? Again, I think hope springs eternal, but you know, prayers of Thanksgiving for the things we have in our life. Okay, I have enough to buy the map and the sword. Have you asked you? No. It's all good. But yeah, I think that's where blessings can come in. Really, there's a rich theology of blessings in the Catholic Church, and some of it's very much in that sense of you know, asking to be prayed for and asking for God's protection. And to the other end of the spectrum being giving thanks for what we have received. So, and that one does not preclude the other, because when you have a car, you're giving thanks that you have the car. Yes, it's only me again, but I have money this time. Yeah, it makes the stuff consecrated to God in your life, saying it's, you know, intentionally to help you. I'll take it. Let's get that sword. What? Well, I know how to make him reappear. I'd like to buy the sword. Okay, so we've spent a lot of money, but we now have a sword and a map. Was there a third thing I needed money for? I guess not. I needed something in the governor's mansion to get the idol. I don't think I have it yet. Well, we have the map, we have the sword, so we can do some sword fighting. And we can do some sword fighting, and we can get through the maze. So why don't we look at the map? I think I've been had. This is no map. What? This looks like dancing lessons. Do the monkey. Back 2, 3, 4, left 2, 3, 4, right 2, 3, 4. It's a map of sorts. Uh-oh. Creepy. Can I pick up some bones? Can't pick that up. Not with that attitude. I think I have goofed. Because I thought if I took a wrong direction in the forest path, it would just be like, oh, cool, we'll just reset you and send you on your way. The legendary lost treasure of Melee Island. I found it by accident. This carefully reproduced piece of Melee Island history has been delighted thousands of would-be pirates and their families for generations. So go easy on the treasure. Here lies the treasure of such unimaginable wealth. I just have to dig it up. Dig it up. Looks like a big plus sign. What could it possibly mean? I don't have a shovel. Hey, this better be important. Hey, some sword fighting. Wait, I have a sword now. I'm confused. I'm gonna need someone to train me, that's right. Maybe one of the pirates over here could train me. From the PTA meeting. Are you guys pirates? No, we're a wandering circus troupe. But this rat scared away the elephant. Shut up. Of course we're pirates. Can't buy clothes like these off the rack. Well, you'd be surprised. What do you want? How come you're on a street corner, not looting, pillaging, and sacking? Pirating has been panning out well for us. There's some unnaturally talented pirates in the area right now. Operating out of Monkey Island, TM. So we've been pursuing alternate means of self-support. We're trying to start up a circus. Why don't you just join the circus that's in town? It was working well until the rat scared off the elephant. Wait, you were telling the truth? Now you've depressed us. Go home. I don't think I depressed you. Maybe the guy in jail can train us? Otis? Did you happen to have a file? Think I'd be in here if I did? All I have is this carrot cake my Aunt Tilly made for me. You can have some of that if bring me something to get rid of those rats. Can't stand carrot cake. Okay, so what if we give you the gopher repellent? This might work on the rats. Thanks. It's heavy. So what if I open the carrot cake? Hey, look at that. Better not wear it out before I get the idol. Oh, okay. I can use that to get the idol. That's what I needed. We can get 1/3 of the things done, and we've started in on the other two. I've got the file. Yeet! But apparently I needed the book to make confetti to give to the clown that I didn't even know was there. There is so much happening here. Rhino toenails. What? Just a few hits to the sheriff for good measure, I guess. Phew. That was a close one. They used to got the idol. Wasn't the idol supposed to have 100 hands? But I'm not done with you yet. Uh-oh. Thought you could get out of here with the idol of many hands? Look, I can explain. So can I. You poisoned the governor's pet poodles. They're just sleeping. Broke into her house. Door was unlocked. And stole one of her most valuable pieces of art. No, you've got it all wrong. Oh, really? Well, let's hear your explanation. It belongs in a museum. What's going on here? I caught this hoodlum making off with your idol, Governor. It says it belongs in a museum. That's right. It does. What? You heard me, Fester. The real question is, how did he get in here while you were on guard? Just go away, Fester. I can handle this. Humph. Deal with you later. Sorry about him. He's new. I'm Governor Marley. Governor Elaine Marley. So, my idol belongs in a museum, eh? Oh, gee, well. Relax, Mr. Threepwood. I know why you're here. Believe me, you're not the first who's tried. Although, I have to admit, not many get as far as you have. Well, when you have the clown. Jeepers. My lookout told me of your arrival. I've wanted to meet you ever since I heard your fascinating name. Tell me, Guybrush, why do you want to be a pirate? You don't look like one. Your face is too sweet. What's the correct answer here, chat? Bluffed Grulput, Hurldurl, or Rolfdit? Fan of Grulpit myself, or Bulfit. Well, you're obviously not in the mood for idle chit-chat, are you? I suppose you've got many things, more exciting things to do. I won't take up any more of your time, Mr. Threepwood. Blugger. Murfner. Demicul. Smooth, Threepwood. I really wish I knew how to talk to women. Ah. Where do you think you're going, Thumpwald? Going to the idol in my safe deposit box. You know it's not too late for us to make up new friends. Excuse me, Mr. Shinetop. You're blocking the doorway. Buzz off, Fester. You're blocking the doorway. I think you need to cool off. Hand over your sword. Uh-oh. This is the end of the road, my little pantalooned pal. Your troublemaking days on Melee Island are over. My plans for Governor are far too important, and much too near completion, to risk letting a would-be pirate like you get in the way. So long, Mr. Spicecake or Droopface or whatever it is. This might actually turn out to be a pretty good day. Oh, I guess I'll be needing a sword. This'll do. Why? Well, that wasn't so hard. Now all I have to do is show this stupid idol to the pirate leaders and... You're alive! Governor! Hey, you can talk. Who would have known? What are you doing here? Coming to finish the job? No, I came down here to save your life. Buster wasn't acting on my orders when he threw you in there. You came down here to rescue me? I didn't even think you liked me. Well, our first meeting was a little awkward. You seem to have trouble forming complete sentences. But then again, so do most of my citizens. But I'm not one of your citizens. I'm just a drifter, nobody, a would-be pirate. Who would even know or even care if you'd let me drown? I would have, Guybrush. Oh, Governor. Oh, Threepwood. Oh, Elaine. Oh, Guybrush. This is mushy. Love Muffin. Sugar Boots. Honey Pumpkin. Plunderbutt. No, we mustn't. What? Not here, where everyone can see us. Why, are you ashamed of me? No, it's not that at all. Is this all just in his head? It's just that many pirates have made advances towards me, and to avoid hurting their feelings, I've always told them that my father made me promise I would never fall in love with a pirate. If they see us together, they'll know I was lying. Okay, let's go to your place. Okay. But finish your trials first. I don't want you to be preoccupied. But I feel this sudden urge to complete the trials. Quickly. Oh, that was so sappy. So why did I have to pay to buy a sword when I just get one for free? That's the exact same off of the ocean floor. Here, have the idol. Ah, the idol of many hands. You're a brave lad, and thank you for stealing it for us. That's it? Maybe you need 2 swords? Man. Why does your mom let you have 2 swords, Guybrush Threepwood? I'm also trying to think, what would we give to the troll? Could it possibly be the stapler remover? And I still need to figure out who to train me about sword fighting. That's pretty useless. But it's not what I want. Okay, but theoretically... because the game does not let you back yourself into a corner... Shouldn't you have eaten me by now? No, I'm not hungry. I don't like wimps. Okay. I am a mighty pirate! Except not yet. You're no pirate. The town drunk could out insult you on his back. It probably would. Oh, I can out insult anyone, you brainless clay doppelganger. I once owned a dog that was smarter than you. Take that and put it in your repertoire. Hey, Otto. This game is great. This is actually my first time ever playing it. And I feel pretty good that I've completed one of the 3 trials, and I have a sword and the map. I just need a shovel to dig up the treasure, and I need to figure out someone to train me in sword art. But for no guide, I feel like I'm making pretty good headway. Struggled with this game so much when it first came out. As well, I understand their dumb logic much better now. It's fair. There are still some moon logic elements. How long is the timeout? Like the points one? I mean, I wrap up in like 5 minutes, so I wouldn't bother anyway. I mean, sometimes it's the default is like 5 minutes, I think, but sometimes if people ask for more or less when they ask for the timeout. So I still need to find a shovel. I like when people redeem the time me out thing and they don't know what it means. Well, we'll save in the scum bar. We'll call it there for the day. So thanks so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today. And I hope you have a great rest of your day. Join us again on Monday, where we're starting Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Really excited to check that out. So that should be a lot of fun. Tuesday will be Worm Wildmender. Wednesday is Minecraft, and then Thursday more of this. And a week from tomorrow, not this Friday, but a week from tomorrow, the 8th, I will be competing on Goff Game of Favorites over on P. Tony's channel. And then when we hit 500 followers, we're at 489 right now, we will do a 12-hour stream. And I've got a special bonus stream in the works right now, potentially looking at August 16th. I just need to hear back from a few more folks, but it should be a lot of fun. But yeah, so thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and let's see who's live that we can raid into. Not a lot of folks live right now that I haven't raided lately. So no raid, I guess. But I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. And I'll see y'all on Monday. Take care. God bless.